lovely people. Yes, we know it's been a while, but indeed we do miss you guys so much, and we hope by God's grace each one of you doing well. We're also doing well here in Hope Channel Ghana. I welcome you specially to Rhythms of Life. My name is Nana Akusiaboachi. You can see all the smiles, I can't hide it. One of my favorite personalities. In fact, I've been trying so hard to get her. She's been very busy. You know, when it comes to the women, I'm not being biased, but when it comes to my female guests, oh, I'm just excited when they come in. I'm happy, especially for this one. And her name is Mrs. Adwoa Agyeba Gyamera. Tete. I know your husband will beat me because I've put him the surname somewhere and then the Tete forward. But please forgive me, Mr. Gyamera. Hello.
Hi, dear.
I call her my big sister. Sister Adwoa, how are you doing?
I'm great, by grace.
And I hope the family's doing well.
Yeah, definitely.
Finally, you're on Rhythms of Life.
Finally.
Finally. What changed this time?
Yeah, I made a promise, right? And that was on the 31st.
Yes.
Yes,
That's
31st.
Pillar Fest.
Yes, yes. That was on the 31st. And so at least I told myself if I'm not able to do anything at least I should be able to honor at least this promise.
Yes, you have
and
to.
So God has been good. He's been gracious, and I'm here.
We thank God for that. So there's going to be a very interesting conversation going on, and I want you to sit back because there's more to learn from our guest here. And I want you to invite a friend that today the conversation is going to be something else. So they can watch us on Facebook, on YouTube. Yes, that's Hope Channel Ghana. And then send in their comments, questions, shout outs whatsoever on our WhatsApp line 0559 680066 and read it all out for you. Right, so let's move on to the conversation. See, our guest here has a lot of positions, a lot of things you can think of. But I love the engineering part. She has a background in health, hazard management. She is an engineer. See, name it, plenty. We are going to learn how she got that. So my fellow women out there, I think we will learn more than the men. Probably the men will help to push us, learning from our guest today. Sister Adwoa,
Yes, yeah.
I know you were born in Ivory Coast. Comment ça va?
Ça va très bien, et toi?
Well, I started it, but then we'll move on. So, being born in Ivory Coast and growing up a bit there, how was it like?
Oh, okay. Actually, the truth is, I was born in Burkina. But then I think right after being born, we moved to Ivory Coast. So I had my entire childhood in Ivory Coast. It was interesting. I mean, the normal childhood pranks. I've never been a quiet person, seriously.
She's Adwoa.
I am Adwoa, born bred. I am Adwoa. In fact, I am a Sabbath Adwoa because I was born on a Sunday evening. But I'm a Seventh-day Adventist, so, and I think my parents knew that this person cannot conform to the ACs, so I had to be an Adwoa, and I think I have the character traits of Adwoa, so that's fine. Anyway,
fine.
So yes, I had a normal childhood. Okay. My parents, my dad was then an accountant with a secondary school in Boaké, a Seventh-day Adventist. He was a missionary. So he was with the Collège Adventiste de Boaké. And so we were in a missionary compound. And I went through from class 1 to class 6, going through the normal stages of life. Yes. So it was quite uneventful. Just a normal childhood.
Are you sure? Because you see, with a missionary compound, it's like every day, everyone is busy. You need to prepare. Put yourself in a position because you're going out there to do missionary work.
Yes.
So saying it's a normal, how normal was it with you?
It was normal for me because I was a child. So as a child, all you need to do is eat, play, go to school. You don't care about whatever is going on. And then there were different nationalities on the compound, but then we were all children. So we didn't have that division of he's an A, he's an B, he's an... There were all sort of nationalities from... we had Ivorians, of course, Togolese, Cameroonians. We had, I think we had an Ethiopian, somebody from Haiti, a lot of different nationalities. But then we went through the normal days of playing, going to school, which was the ritual. And then I just remember there were a lot of mango trees, so I used to climb a lot of mangoes.
Wow.
Trees there, yeah.
Yeah, they say she was like a tomboy, you know.
I was.
That energy and then vibe.
It has always been there. And it's not lost.
I mean, imagine what your mother went through during pregnancy.
You know? Anyway, I was the last born, so you have to feel my presence. So wherever I go, I mean, you should know that Adwoa has been there. I have to pass through, and then when I leave, you should miss me.
So we the last born. How many were you?
We were 4.
You were 4.
Yeah.
How many girls?
2 girls, 2 boys. The boys were older, and then the girls were at the latter part.
Balancing.
Oh yeah, balancing. Just
Shout
like
out
the
to your
God of
parents.
balance. Oh yeah, they did really well.
They did really well.
Yes.
So you came, you moved, the family moved to Ghana. You were at the age of 11
Yes.
then.
Yes,
was it like a transfer with the missionary work? Or
Yeah,
it was something else?
I think, well, I didn't really know back then. I was 11, so all I knew was we are coming back to Ghana. But then I think it was something of that sort because my dad came back here and then he still went. I think he went to AVI back then. Now it's VVU Techiman campus. Before he ended up at the conference working as I think an associate treasurer. Yeah.
Right, so there was change of education.
Yes.
Comparing the 2 educational system back then Ivory Coast and then in Ghana, do you see any difference? Were you able to settle in comfortably, or you had to, you know?
Yeah, it was a bit of a challenge for me, especially in my first year, because you know, I had just completed JHS. In Ivory Coast, when you finish, I just completed class 6, sorry. When you complete class 6, you have to write an entrance exam before you go to the senior high, as we call it, or the JHS, as we call it. And if you fail, you still have to rewrite. It was they have this strict kind of education system. But then I think it works because it makes you disciplined. And so you write and then you go to the next phase. So we had a base A, then you go to, I think, JHS 1, 2, 3, then it's then you move on, you write another exam and you move on. The challenge was up to class 6, everything is in French. And you know, I was in the place where we speak French, we play and everything, so English wasn't my thing. And then abruptly we moved to Ghana where everything is English. Okay? And I attended Hanson Road SDA. So I think I remember my first term, my friend teacher had to be in class with me. So that whatever they say in English, he translates it to French. For me. Okay. They say, I remember his name.
Oh, not to catch you. What year was that?
Was it 92, right? Yeah, I think 92.
Some of us were not born.
92. You were not born. Oh, sorry. It is well. There's a time for everything. Yeah, so 92, yeah. So first term, I had a bit of that challenge. But it helped me because I had to catch up very fast before I can be abreast with. So it made me okay with my English because I had to read books, do classes, and all those things. So by the time I was through with first term, at least when you speak, I understand. And I had to pick.
Have a toll on you because 11 at that age, you know, most of the time at that age, kind of a bit stressful, trying to balance it through.
Not really. Personally, I love challenges, and I'm a lazy learner. Yeah, I learn when I have to, but I'm not like my older sister is always a head in books. You don't get me. I mean, if I can get the outdoor, why should I have my head in books? Anyway, so but then I had to. I mean, it was a must. There's nothing you can do. So because of that, I had to catch up. I didn't have a choice. So yeah, I did it, and it was fine. Anyway, afterwards, I didn't have any issues. I was okay with all my friends in there. The only thing is, I think it affected my vernacular. You know, Hanson Road, you're not allowed to speak.
I think
vernacular.
Most of the schools here in
Let me tell you a story that happened to me
back then.
You know, something. I think I went to break. I came back, and then there was a call. Was it? What class? There was a class that was going on, and I think the teacher asked for pepper in Gan.
Okay.
Now the rule was don't speak vernacular, and then the teacher has asked pepper in Gan. So I was so excited because nobody was raising their hand. You understand? And like this time around, I'm able to speak vernacular. So I raised my hand and I like shito. Then it's like there's this placard that they put on your neck when you speak vernacular. I won't speak vernacular. And I'm like, why should you give this to me? Because you asked a question. I was like, that's why you have to be in class on time.
Okay, so it was like...
It was a big issue for me. I just didn't understand the reason why. The long and short, I was punished, but then it also had a toll on my vernacular. So most of the time, I prefer speaking English than speaking vernacular, because when I speak, everybody will ask, what town are you? Are you whether? Are you black? Are you? So let me speak English and be free.
You were Fanti and a Guan.
Yep.
So the fact that I went to Mankan Fanti.
Yeah.
Also, so I into Mankan crying. Okay, I know Guan, it's a bit of Guy, it's a bit of other.
Actually Ewutu. The Guans, we have so many dialects. We have the Futu, we have the Ewutu. We even have those from the eastern parts. The thing is that we all have form of a benchmark. So when you speak, I understand. Mine with the tonation and the language, it changes a bit, but then it's okay.
The A and the R.
Yes, and those things. So in my house, because of that, we were speaking Gan.
Okay.
Yeah, because my mom was Fanti, my daddy was Guan. So do you speak Fanti or make am Fanti kaka do? Make Wutu son kaka, but we were more comfortable speaking Gan. Actually, in my house, everything you speak, you understand. From French to English to Fanti to Ewutu to Gan. I think it's only ever that in Hausa that might be a challenge. But so we just, you speak anything that comes to mind and everybody understands. So we are good to go.
So I think a guante eteme.
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 Ebole.
Ebole.
Yes. So if I ask you eteme, then you will have to say ebole.
Ebole.
So eteme is etisen. Ebole is eye.
Oh.
Yeah.
My lovely people, I'm learning. I'm really learning. Very soon, you hear me speaking different languages.
Yes.
Very, very soon. So thanks through with God, you went through junior high school and then senior. What senior high school did you attend?
Senior high is another story. Okay, so I attended Apam Secondary School. It started with this. I said I was going to do science. And so I remember when I was filling up for my placement, my teachers wanted me to do arts because I was good in French and English wasn't too much of a challenge, and I was good in maths. But I told them, I will do science. So yes, the placement came, and my sister went to Holy Child. My cousin went to Holy Child. So the plan was I was also going to Holy Child.
Like kind of a family
yes. So actually I got Holy Child, all right. But they gave me arts. And it was like if you take one subject, they can't change it. So I was like, but I want to do science. I'm not ready to do arts. My father too is like, it's either you do science or it's either you do the arts they're giving you, or we cannot stay in the school if you want to do science. I said, then me, if don't give me science, I won't go.
Where did that, how do I put it? That power and confidence.
I don't know. it's just me.
It's very difficult, especially in our part of the world, especially Ghanaian. I don't know for other countries, to tell your parents that, see, this is what I want. I'm doing
I think that's one thing my Ivorian background gave me. Ivorians are one thing. They are not hypocrites. Let me put it that way. If they want this, they'll tell you in your face. I don't like you. They'll tell you I don't like you.
You're insulting us Ghanaians most.
No. I'm not saying. Usually, Ghanaians, we kind of you want to soften the blow, and I'm not saying hypocrisy as in. It's just like it's our nature to always want to be nice. Say Ghanaians are nice.
Yeah.
Ivorians are not trying to impress you. They want to be themselves. And I'm always myself. It's not about impressing you, what you think, at the end of the day, I have to be myself. I am me. So I shouldn't, they say what? Outside gentility, home cry. In Ivory Coast, it's not like that. At least, when they don't like, one thing I remember so clearly is, if they don't like you, they let you know they don't like you. So you are yourself. So in fact, I told my dad it was a big. This thing I'm talking about, it was a big thing.
Yeah, that's why I'm really.
So my second choice, which was Infantiman, tells me yes, I could get science because I think I had something good. But then because I didn't pick them as first choice, they are not taking me. Then my dad said, that is it. For you to have gotten a school and you said you won't go because you want to do science, they've not given you science, I won't mind you again. Then I stayed in the house and started praying. At a very young stage, I had a relationship with God. So I always, whatever my issue is, the first point of contact is God. So I started praying and then I was there because I knew, one thing I knew was, I felt arts was too easy for me. I like challenges. French is like, it's natural. English, I read, so it was also natural. So I felt it won't be too much of a challenge for me. But science, yes, I'm challenging myself. So my auntie, who was then a house mistress in Apam, Miss Blade, comes to the house and she was like, why is she still in that? I was like, oh, she doesn't want to blah, 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 so the story. Then she was like, oh, okay, she should, what's her grade? But this grade, she cannot stay in there. Let me take her to Apam. And that's how I went to Apam. And so the first year of Apam, I never spoke to a boy because I was angry.
All men?
Yes.
Like what your dad did that affected?
I wanted to go to a girls' school.
Okay.
So the mere fact that I was in a mixed school made me kind of, I don't belong here. I remember even a mate of mine was like, Adwoa, what are you doing here? Because they're expecting me to be somewhere else, not Apam. I'm like, this is where I am. By God's being so good, yes, I went through Apam, I did it.
But why girls' school? You didn't really want to move?
No, when you're a youngster and then you have a plan with your sisters and your cousins and blah, 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 you've tuned yourself, I'm going to a girls' school.
And then you did science.
Yeah, and I did science. I didn't do any science. I did physics, chemistry, and add maths. Because I like science, but I don't like biology.
I feel you let me any day. Without you did the it's okay.
I don't like biology. I just see the gas and I get angry.
Is it about the drawing or what?
It's so bulky and you have to read and read and read. Physics, chemistry, maths, it's just about your formulas. And you are good to go. I've already established the fact that I'm a lazy learner. I don't have time to just get me my formula.
Looks like you were those people who just get it from the board and that's it.
That's how I am.
Oh.
That's how I am. And then
You're
afterwards,
blessed.
I just do 1, 2, and then I'm good to go.
Then you went to the university.
No, I didn't go to the... I've gone through every single step. I went to the Polytechnic. I did electrical engineering at the Polytechnic. The Polytechnic was another story. A lot of stories. Back then, you have to wait 1 year before you go to the university. So my uncle was going to buy a form for his son at the Polytechnic, decided to buy a form for me too, whilst I was waiting. The funny part is the son wasn't picked, I was picked for electrical engineering.
Wow.
Anyway, so my dad was okay, since I'll wait for 1 year, why don't I go there? And then when the university placements come, then I move. So I was doing electrical engineering. I'd applied for tech for the same course, but tech gave me, I think, pure physics or pure chemistry, one of those. Back then I had completed HND, I had completed my first year. And so I was like, why should I go back and do pure when I am doing engineering, which I love? So I was like, I won't go. When I finished, I was told after you finish HND, you can top up 2 years and then you are good to go. So I was okay, then let me finish with the electrical engineering. So I did HND electrical engineering. I completed, back then went to tech to apply. They told me, no, with HND you have to do 4 years before you can get a degree. I was like, I'm not going to do that. So I did my national service. And then I think the headmistress back then in Apam Senior High wanted me to come and teach. She was calling me Adwoa, because when she heard of me doing electrical engineering, back then we were about 95 or so, and 3 women. So 92 boys, 3 women. I was the class rep.
Why engineering at the first place?
I told you I don't like biology, but I like science. So back then, unlike now where I could have done a lot of research, all I knew is that I wanted to do a science-based subject that didn't have to do with biology. That's all what I knew. Okay. The engineering came in when my uncle bought the forms for his son and bought it for me. And then I got into engineering. And I knew I fell in love with engineering.
Just loved it.
And that is it. Because it was good for me.
So coming out through Polytechnic and all that. After Polytechnic, what next? You spoke of your auntie wanting you to come and teach.
Not my auntie, the headmistress back then at Apam Senior High. She called me Adwoa because she felt, I was back then in the Polytechnic, I was the vice president for our old students association. So we're going back to school from time to time. And you know, once I'm in love with something, I let everybody know about it. So I was always telling the ladies, especially the science students, not to only think about nursing and being doctors, but also thinking about the engineering, which is another field that was emerging back in 98, 99, 2000. So she liked me. So she told me she wanted me to even come and do my service there. But I was like, oh no, I want to also explore. So I did my service at Kumewu. They gave me teaching. So during my final month or so, she worked it out so that I could come back to my alma mater and teach. So I was teaching physics and elective maths for a number of years. Yes. I was also a house mistress back then, before I got married, and then I had to move.
How was the experience with, teaching, being a house mistress, managing children? I know how we are, because we've all been in senior high school and we know how it is managing kids. How was that experience? So I was quite young back then. I think I was in my early 20s when I was a house mistress. So the age gap between me and the girls wasn't that much. And then because I was young, they gave me a small house. But what I did was I've always loved people to know what I stand for and what my rules are. So I wrote rules and regulations for the house. Good. So if you abide by the rules and regulations, you are free to go. If you don't, you are punished. It's true.
And so my kids, because there were not so many, and they knew that I met punishment only when you go against the regulations of the house. Most of them were abiding, and it was more like a big sister, younger sister kind of relationship. But then they knew what I wanted, what I stood for, and that helped me really manage them. So we didn't have much of an issue when I was a house mistress back then.
And through that journey, our big sister got married. Yeah. Yes, Mrs. Gyamera got married. You've been married for 16 years.
Yeah.
Almost 2 decades.
Yeah, almost.
With
we are working towards
3
that.
beautiful kids.
Yes.
Share the experience with us.
Anyway.
Because I know it's not easy. I know most of us have had a lot of experience shared by married people, but we always hear different stories from people. So we want to hear yours.
Okay, so marriage has been interesting. I will say that. I think one thing as my husband and I always say is that we came together and we made a team. So we are called Team Gyamera, right? So with a team, it means that we always have visions and goals. We can have long-term, short-term, but whichever way, we are there for each other. Through the good, the bad, and the ugly, we are together. My husband would say 16 years of management. It's not easy.
Not marriage, management.
Management, yeah. Because he's a friend and he's my Kokonsan mate, right? I mean, when the Kokonsan comes, the first person that comes to mind is my husband. I mean, so that brings about, you see, love has to be nurtured. Okay, if you don't water love, it will go down, right? So as much as possible, we try to nurture our love through activities, through communication. I'm somebody who loves talking. Those who know me know that I'm not a quiet person.
Yeah,
I've never been.
We're the free spirit people.
Yeah, I've never been quiet. I don't think I'll ever be. So we talk a lot. We have so many plans. Okay. You see, I am comfortable with my support system. I call it my support system because we always talk about issues. We always discuss our plans, be it for the family, be it for our profession. He's also an engineer, by the way. And we are always comparing notes here and there. And that's what makes it beautiful for me. Definitely out for the storms, they come. But he likes talking, I love talking. So when we come together, we do the talking together and then we move on. Unlike the quiet where we keep everything bottled in. That doesn't help. So
how you
talk issues out.
Yeah, how you people blending it? You are in Sunyani, he's in Cape Coast.
So I say whatever decisions we make it together. So how do I do it? He's more of a support person. He always wants to, what are your goals? How well can we make it work? So Sunyani, I come down on weekends for the kids. If there are issues or holidays, I spend it at home with the kids, with him. And then that's how we do it.
He doesn't feel intimidated by you trying to pursue a lot of ambitions, a lot of goals. He doesn't feel intimidated by that?
No, you see, he's normally the one who sometimes urges me when I'm not even ready to go. I will tell you, if this is what you want to do you want to do it? It's more about, do you want to do it? Can you do it? Then you have to do it. Okay? I'll give you the support. If you want to do it, then you can do it. I will give you the support. So that's why I say he's more like my support system. So he's there for me. And the same way, when he also has, we are not you cannot do family. In my house, my kids, I'll tell my kids, you know, mommy, I can't. It's not part of our dictionary. If you want to do it, you should try and do it. Right. Our motto is trying to fail is better than failing to try. You try. If it doesn't, yes, it's better than failing to try. If you try and it doesn't work, that's one thing. But if you don't try at all, then it will be like, hey, you see, it becomes kind of a cross on you. I should have tried. Maybe if I had done it. So what prevented you from doing it? Provided it's not against your God. Provided my partner is okay with it. Provided my kids are able to manage. Mind you, Sunyani just came around the past 2 years. Before then, I stopped teaching along the way when my husband had to go and do his PhD. Because we also have a private company. And so when he had to leave and do PhD full time, it was having a toll on the company. So I also had to stop teaching and take over the company.
That's sacrifice.
Yeah. Take over the company so that you could finish up with his PhD. Otherwise, it would have been like he's thinking about his company, he's thinking about his PhD. That would have been much of a problem. So I have to stop, take over, and then him going. And then normally that's what we do. When he finished, I also had to do my master's. He was there to back me up. And I had this opportunity. He's there to back. That's why I said we are a team.
So sacrifices everything, because the fact that he is taking more time, or should I say most of the time with the kids, because you come over during the weekend, yeah. So he's with the kids like that 24/7. Lots of sacrifices.
A lot of sacrifices. But then I always say he's doing a yeoman's job, and no wonder he's my husband. I wouldn't have it any other way. He's a good man with a good heart. And so if I also have the opportunity of doing something to appreciate it, why shouldn't I do it? Because he's there for me.
Oh, at this point, we pray that we all, amen, to us the single women, and to even those who are married already, that see a lot of sacrifice. And here is you. You know what? Let's go for a quick break. At this point, let's go for a quick break. We'll be right back, and there's a lot more to learn from Mrs. Adwoa Agyeba Gyamera. Welcome back from the break. If you just joined, it's Rhythms of Life, and our guest for today is Mrs. Adwoa Agyeba Gyamera, and we've actually discussed a lot. We got to her marriage part. I want to learn something. I don't know if you also want to know. Yeah, how did she meet her husband, the lucky man?
Interesting.
Then we move up from there.
We are both lucky. He's not only lucky, we are both lucky. I'm
being biased.
Anyway, so we met at a youth camp actually.
Why is that most of my female guests are? it's okay. Maybe I should be looking anyway.
Yeah, you know the funny part about that youth camp was I initially had not planned on going. Then somewhere along the line I was like, oh, okay. You know, when you think you are growing, I was a house mistress, I was teaching. I felt youth camp was kind of for the kids, right?
Hey!
Then somehow I was like, every year I go, so why won't I go? Mm-hmm. So I think I went on, they started on a Monday, I don't remember, but I went 4 days before the end of the camp. And then along the line I met my husband. And I love talking, and he also likes talking, and he's a very interesting and funny gentleman. He can make you laugh, and I love laughing, and so that got us into being friends. So we're friends for a while. I think we ended up that year. They selected us as the federation. We're part of the federation executives, so it meant that we were meeting more often, and we kind of, so that's where we started from, and then we became friends, and one thing led to the other, and then
one thing led to the other. Weren't there any other men? Like, I know most of the time there are varieties of men. Why Mr. Gyamera, aside other things you've mentioned?
There were one. I'm somebody who believes in whatever I'm doing, I have to take it to God in prayer.
Okay.
And so, yeah, at the time there were a lot of, should I say, suitors. But then I knew myself, and I knew some of the things I wanted. And one thing I wanted was somebody who loved, I think I had made a list. My list wasn't about somebody who had money.
Hey, you've made a list.
Oh, yes. And I was praying to God.
Okay. Okay.
You know, I was praying to God because I thought if God is to choose, I'm going to do better than choosing for myself. So my list wasn't about handsome, fair, dark, no, physical. I thought God is going to give me somebody who compliments me. But my list was more about somebody who loved God as much as I did. And then I think another thing I wrote was somebody who was what? Somebody who loved giving.
Okay.
Who loved giving. Because I'm a last born. I'm used to receiving. Naturally. And I'm a woman too, so you can imagine.
Oh, I was waiting for that part.
I'm used to receiving. So sometimes when I want to give, it's a bit difficult for me.
Really?
Because I feel like, hey, this thing that you are giving, I don't know. I always had difficulties. I give at church, but individually, I don't have that. I felt that I'm not able to discern the genuine one from the non-genuine ones.
Okay.
So sometimes I don't give as much as I want to give.
Don't you feel bad sometimes about that?
So that's why I felt, I asked God specifically, I wanted somebody who was good at giving so that we can complement each other. So, and my husband, he said that if he goes and comes and tells you that he has even given his car out, don't be surprised. He can give everything out.
Mr. Justice Apia, shout out to you.
But I felt then that person will compliment me. So when I'm giving at church, it's also giving to individuals. Because it's something I long doing, but I don't know why. I always felt restricted before I give. If you ask, I'll give. But that free, always giving out.
Like immediately the person goes like, oh, Adwoa, or
yes,
I want something straight away given.
I don't do that. I have to think. I have to dissect.
Hey.
And know what do you need it. But it helps. In our marriage, it has helped because it was whenever he wants to give. Initially, he was giving, but sometimes you have people who believe that you are just their source of income. Every month, they have to call you for a different issue. And sometimes, instead of letting you teach them how to fish, they feel you always have to.
You want to feed them.
Exactly. So we try to get a system to work. Okay. So that's one thing. So in all, he was just an answer to a prayer. There are a lot of things that went through. Somewhere along the line, I was like, God, hey, after all these things, but then through a lot of discernment, he was a good man, and also he had a good heart. And I've not regretted following God's will and following my choice and marrying Nana Gyamera.
Shout out to you, Mr. Gyamera, wherever you are. We are grateful for doing this for our big sister. We'll come for hours, actually. You are so many things. Consultant, engineer, a whole lot. Definitely, there might be some setbacks along the way. What has been some of the setbacks when you were progressing through this journey?
Setbacks, there have been.
Speaks volume.
There have been. Presently, even being in Sunyani, I always feel, yes, I'm following my career, but my family is everything. So sometimes I kind of feel that distance from me too. That's why I want to, as much as any opportunity I have to get back to them, I do. But then I always say this: if you are too comfortable in your comfortable zone, how do you go? Sometimes you have to move out of your comfortable zone before you can grow. Apart from that, I think that it has always been, sometimes it becomes an issue even with my church, because I always feel bad when I've been a women ministry leader, I've been a young ladies leader, I've been, and then sometimes I feel that, oh, now sometimes so busy that, hey, I can't do what I used to do. First, almost every other day I was in the church house. But then what I do, I try to complement it. Whenever they in my church, we try to do hybrid sections. So when there are live sessions, we also go on Zoom. So Wednesday prayer meeting, I am on Zoom. Wherever I may find myself, at least I try to. I feel that the text that says, remember your creator in the days of your youth, is very important as we are growing up. And when responsibilities start coming in there, because you know that, and God also knows that he's still my priority in everything I do though. But then if there are other responsibilities that makes it difficult for me to do his work at presently, if I take the position of a women ministry leader, I won't be able to deliver as much as I want to, because when I'm not even in my mother church presently, I come down on weekends. How much can I give? But that doesn't mean when I have the opportunity and I'm there and they call upon me, I don't do it. Even if you don't call up, they know me, whether you call me or not. If I'm there and I can do it, I will do it. So yes, there has been setbacks here and there, but through it all, God has been good. And determination works. When you are determined enough, you're able to make it.
Okay, that's good. So meaning that there hasn't been a moment where you just want to throw in the towel.
I'm not that kind of person.
We are going with that spirit by any means. So there are so many things people want to change. So if there's one thing you want to change, what would that be?
One thing I want to change is our young ladies' attitude towards life. The Bible says, it's by the fruit, by the sweat of your brow that you will eat. There's no free gifts. You understand?
Yeah.
Hard work also pays.
Yeah. Of late, people say that phrase is no more working.
I tell my mom, you see, you are saying our generation were the worst off. You see those coming. You know why I have a problem? My problem is not me. My problem is my child. The role models they will have. What are we showing the society? We are now in a society where right is wrong and wrong is right. Back in our days, we were so proud when you call yourself a virgin. Now you are ashamed when you call yourself a virgin.
Because most men don't even want to settle with that.
They don't want to say. You see, at the younger stage, they even frown on that. So you are, they say you have not. What kind of, they see you as odd. Are you getting me? But I say this, dare to be a Daniel. Dare to stand alone. Daniel. That is my prayer has always been, let me be relevant wherever I find myself. In the prospect of engineering, there are very few women who are engineers. We have an association which is the Women in Engineering. What we are trying to do is change that mindset. If you have a passion, go for it.
So is there a project you're doing?
Yes, we are having a role modeling session, and we call it a mentorship program.
Okay.
We are doing it with the with WUSC, so it's World Universities of Canada, right? So what they do is that we have programs from young girls, those already studying engineering, and those who are yet, so say those at the tertiary level already studying engineering. We have role models, women who are already in engineering, who will let them know that we have people like that, and they have made it, and so you can also make it. So come join us. And then we also try to bring about youngsters in JHS and SHS, let them know that there's something called engineering, and if women can be engineers.
So when do you do that? Even though our time is almost up, quickly, when do this?
So we have programs. We pick selected schools because it's for 5 years. So for now, what we do is we take a group of people and then we mentor them, take their contact, and we give them to specific engineers.
Okay.
And then they try to do the role modeling for them. And so we do it, first it's a pilot thing, so we are doing it in 3 regions: Greater Accra, Ashanti region, and then Western region, Takoradi to be specific.
Okay.
And then with the piloting, within a year or 2, when it works out, we are going to spread it out in other regions.
All right. So her contact is with me. We'll follow through with that, and then to parents, guardians, students, whosoever you are, females, probably we'll find ways and means to join the males, but females, we'll get in touch with them and see how best, especially if you're interested in engineering. Maybe you might not know you love engineering, just give it a try too as well. So we'll follow through with that information. Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
I've picked something, and I know fellow viewers who have been watching most of the time have also picked something as well today. What I'm taking with me is Dare to be a Daniel. Stand out wherever you are, whether you're an Adventist or non-Adventist. So far as you're a Christian, dare to be a Daniel. God richly bless you.
Thank you, sweetheart.
And to Mr. Gyamera and the beautiful kids out there, say that we hope to see her again, this time around for something different, probably connecting more to engineering. My name is Nana Akusiabuache. And then be safe, please. Stay safe, follow God, dare to be a Daniel. And then we'll meet same time next week on Tuesday at exactly 4 p.m. Until then, may God guide and protect you.